The Viltrox DC-550 Pro has a lot of functions, a lot of features. 5.5-inch touchscreen, resolution of 1920 by 1080. So we got an old manual focus lens on this, and a much larger screen will definitely help out. Considering from a photography perspective, I could see using this to have a larger detail screen outdoors. Of course, it's battery powered, so that'll work just fine. You can zoom in on the image from the camera, but that's going to relate to what your camera can output through HDMI. So let's do a 4x zoom, and then if you want to adjust your focus, pop it open. Comes with a nice case, mini HDMI to standard HDMI cable, USB-C to USB-A cable, micro to standard HDMI cable. On the bottom there's an orientation pin and the actual screw connection, other side as well. With that pin in here, it's not going to allow this to shift. Comes with a battery, very flashy. This is an MPF style battery, 2200 milliamps, 16.28 watt hours. The specific battery has a USB-C port on it, so you can charge. There's also a button on the battery to show power level. This is a very cool battery. Got the battery in there. If you have a camera that doesn't have a flip forward screen, or you just want a larger screen for preview of doing self-filming, this is of course going to work very well and output to HDMI, assuming your camera is able to do that. So for whatever reason, if you want to do this and don't want to use the back screen on the camera, maybe use less power in this case, to have an external screen, you don't have to change the camera's battery as often, you could do that. Clearly, one of the main benefits right off the bat is that with the Z5, the screen does not flip forward to the user. So if you wanted to do talking to the camera type video recording, this screen is going to be vital so you can see what's going on with the camera. Different function buttons and also a return button. SD card area, in this case, is going to be for firmware or LUTs. It's not for recording footage. Other videography situations from behind the camera, I'm not an expert on that stuff, but it seemed to have quite a bit of ways to adjust the image and change it so you can see exposure, you can see focus, you can see a lot of different things in this device. You can adjust the color, you can adjust the saturation, brightness, everything on the screen itself, so you can go color accurate in that case. All right, here is the interface. There's a lot to it. You can double tap or use the buttons on the top. Histogram, vector, parade. We have RGB, Y, and also YUV. Full waveform with all of the information. Here's where you can have custom LUTs or use one of the built-in ones. Built-in peaking, if you want to use it on the screen instead of in the camera. False color, I assume. This thing has so many options for adjustment. You can adjust the screen as needed if you want to flip horizontally or flip it vertically in vlogging situations. Stuff like that might be helpful. You want to deal with certain formats of video or photos. It's also helpful. Rule of thirds, golden ratio type things. Or if you want a specific ratio on the screen, you can do that. It's going to resize the image that's coming from the camera. In this case, it's just stretching it. Saturation, hue, sharpness, backlight, color temperature, and RGB settings. So there are a lot of adjustment options here, so you can calibrate the screen if you want. You should be able to with all of this. DC 12 volt in, 5 volt USB-C in, HDMI out, HDMI in, and also the headphone jack. There's a dial for adjustment as needed in the screen's interface. Here's the sunshade. You're going to push those spring-loaded sides in to close it, lock it down. Or if you don't want it, you can easily pull it off. There we go. Full kit, you have the battery, case, sunshade. Of course, on the device itself, you can adjust it with this large dial on the side. You've got the buttons on the top, you have a touch screen, and internally it has a bunch of features, a bunch of functionality of changing, adjusting your image as you want, all that stuff. Of course, keep in mind that Viltrox did send me this DC-550 Pro to try out and make the video on. Scott Photography Bonds, thanks.